Hello, this is Josh with Fairly Booked. Today we're going to take a look at how to set up documents and agreements. So, documents and agreements allow you to do contracts with vendors as well as to receive forms and other documents from vendors, such as sales tax licenses, food permits, health department permits, anything like that you need signed or copies of. So on the left-hand side under booth setup towards the bottom, you have agreements and documents. So we'll start with documents. Documents are the simpler of the two. And the first thing we can also do here is in the all events, we can select what event we're working on. We're going to work on the Pretend County Fair 2026, and that will save us a step as we go. So here we have no documents yet, so we're going to create a new venue document. By selecting the event up here, pre-fills this field here so that every time we create another one, we don't need to fill that in. It'll be pre-populated for us. So then we can give a name of what document we are looking for. So we can say we need your sales tax license. Here we can give a description of what we're looking for, and so we can say we need your state issued sales tax license. That description is visible to your vendors, to the public. The next is admin instructions. So here we can put notes or sample photos of what we're looking for. So we can make a note. We can do formatted text here, so we can have a bullet list that says check that the name matches vendor. Check that it is not expired. We could also put a image in here if we wanted to show a sample. It's got to be active. And then we have two options. We can either create and create another. Let's do create and create another. So it saves it, brings us right back to this field or to this page to create another one. So we want your insurance certificate, and we can put a note saying dates must cover event, minimum $1 million. And you can put whatever details here, $1 million per occurrence, 3 million accumulative, or whatever the requirements your insurance company has for you for something like this or whatever document. Again, putting an example image is great in this field. We can help you with that as well. We can highlight, mark out what fields or where on an insurance certificate you want your staff to look for these things. And again, we can put a bullet list of check the dates. They need to cover the entire event. Minimum $1 million. Again, we can go through all the details of how much or each individual coverage you want to look for. We can check business name matches the contract. And again, put an image there is very helpful to give examples. Don't need dollars twice there. And this time I'm going to hit create. So when we hit create, you'll see it saves it and shows us right back on this page. If we notice a mistake, we could hit edit to come back and edit it. If we go back out to documents, we can either click up here in venue documents or click on the left, and now we can see these documents that we just created. We can go back into view or edit them if needed. So then once we have our documents created, we can also do agreements. Agreements are very similar, but this is something you want the vendor to sign. So we're going to make a new agreement. Our event is already selected. I'm going to skip down here and do an upload and find our pretend contract here. And we can give it a name. So we can just say vendor contract 2026. We can put a description here for the vendors. And then we can scroll down here to the document itself. Actually, before I do that too, we also have the min instructions again at the bottom. So you can put instructions for your staff of what they need to look for before they approve these documents. So all agreements, all the documents, once the vendor submits it, the venue staff is able to review it and approve or deny it. And if you deny it, you can send it back with a message. So we've got several different fields here. So first of all, static field is purely static. So to add stuff, we click on the form element, click in the box or on your document where you want it, and then we can drag and drop for size. We can drag and drop for placement. We can click the X to remove it. So a static field is purely static, and then I can right click on it. And it brings this up. So we can say what size font we want it to be in, and we can change the text on it. So we can add that static text. That's just going to be text on here. Nothing can change. The text field is the most flexible. So again, works the same way. Click on your form element, click in the page where you want it. You can drag and move this around. You can drag and make this wider. We can right click on it again. We can change the font size. Placeholder value is what it's going to display to the vendor when they go to sign it. So there's a few different ways to do this, or depending on what you're using this field for. If we just want a blank field that the vendor has to fill out, we could put something like business name. We can make it required so that the vendor cannot submit without filling it in. And we can make it editable by the vendor so the vendor can edit it. If we hit save, then now when the vendor sees it, it's going to say business name in there, and it's going to be a field that they have to edit and they can edit. If we wanted to make it optional, but the vendor still be able to edit it, we can remove the required field, but leave enabled checked. The other thing we can do is we can associate it to a field. Now, associating is a one-way feature. So it's going to pull that information from the database, from our system, and put it in the contract. The vendor cannot edit it and have it update in the system. So we can say we want this to be the name. The placeholder doesn't matter now because it's going to get pre-filled by the name. We can make this an editable field so the vendor could change it, or you could say, I don't want the vendor to edit it. I just want to load the name that they have put in the system and fill this area in. And so this is how that would work. It would not show business name. It would pull whatever data from the database. It cannot be edited. And we can hit save. As you saw, there's a bunch of different fields that we can treat this way. That we can pull address, information here. We can pull contact information, phone, email, contact person's name, different descriptions from the database to put in here. And it does tell you, so here it's showing you we are pulling the name field into that text field. Here we're pulling the contact person. Again, we can change the size if we need to. Signature, same thing, click, it's going to make a signature box. We can change the size of that if we want. Right click, the only thing you can edit on the signature box is the size. If you put a signature, it is required by the vendor. They cannot submit without signing it. And then the date sign field essentially works as a static text field, but does not allow the vendor to or anyone to edit it, it will pre-populate with the date that the signature is done. Once you have all those fields on there, everything you want on this contract, we can go ahead and hit agree, say, or create agreement, and we see it here. If you need to change anything, we can go back into it and edit it if needed. And just update. So you can add as many documents, as many agreements as you need. Later on, when we get into the processing the vendor applications, we will show you how to add these different agreements and document requirements to your vendor agreements when you prove them, so that the vendors can upload these documents, sign these agreements, and then you can review and approve or deny them. Thanks for watching. Let us know if you have any questions on how to use venue agreements or documents.